Okay. Okay. Let's get into it right now. We're going to be going over a full 60-minute masterclass of how you can make the most amount of money on the final and most profitable part of this bull run. For those that don't know, the final stage of the bull run is the most profitable part. Okay. It is the last most parabolic part where everybody makes the most amount of money. Now, the reason for this is because in the final and most parabolic part of crypto, things tend to run way higher than people could even imagine. That's what we saw last cycle when basically BNB went to all-time highs, when ETH went to 4,000, when Bitcoin the first time around went to 75K and double topped at 77K. There is, in the final stage of the bull run, there is so much FOMO, euphoria, money sloshing around that things go way higher than pretty much anyone could have expected. And that's when you're able to make the most amount of money. And that is when it is the easiest to make money. Now, some of you are trading here with 4, 5, 6, and even 7 figures. We have people in our group right now. Now, it doesn't matter how much money you have on this live class. I'm going to be showing you how you can, in my opinion, safely get anywhere between a 2 and 10x before the end of this bull run in the next 6 to 12 months, depending on how long the bull run goes. Now, obviously, as you move further down the curve, you're going to need to take on more risk in order to get a 10x. You're going to need to take on more risk than you would from getting a 2x. Okay, so I think that's quite common sense. This is the important part. Okay, do not fear. Okay, we're not degenerate gambling. We're not going to be taking on massive leverage trades. We're not going to be, putting $100 into 1,000 different coins and trying to hit massive, 100x plays. Have we hit 100x plays in the past? Yes, we have. But that is the byproduct of finding things early. That is not always the goal, because you have to take on a considerable more amount of risk in order to hit these, 100x plays versus 2x versus 5x and so on and so forth. Okay. And so for the rest of this class, I'm going to be going over all of the lessons that I've learned investing in 30 plus private deals, meeting with hundreds of founders, spending the last 5 years in crypto, and also round tripping quite a bit of money my first cycle so that you guys don't have to. Okay. So in this free class, I'm going to show you how to clear 5, 6, or 7 figures, depending on how much you're starting with, why I think the end of 2025 and going into 2026 is going to be the best time to get involved with crypto, specifically what sectors you should be focusing on, my personal biggest bets going into 2026, and then a full breakdown of everything I hold and why, as well as a mindset breakdown on how to handle just like massive swings that you're inevitably going to go through in crypto, just by virtue of it being a very volatile asset class. Okay. So why am I so bullish on 2025 and into 2026? The market has already been really hot. Trump was elected as new president. Most of his net worth is tied up in crypto. There's a lot of new regulatory frameworks that are going to allow people to invest things like their 401ks into crypto. Eventually, some countries that haven't fully adopted crypto, like China, other places like Asia, like some of these other countries have not fully integrated crypto as much as the US has, but they will, and they will essentially be forced to. And this is also what CZ was talking about yesterday on one of his Twitter spaces, is that the opportunity cost of not joining in on crypto in the new movement and the new financial system will be too big of a burden for these countries to continue to push off like they have in the past. And everyone on this live class, we will have the inside information and we'll be front running them in order to get rich. So that is what I believe will happen. So why am I so bullish on 2025? Bitcoin just had another massive pullback. It went all the way to basically over 120K, give or take. I think it is going to go to 150K this cycle. And I think there's going to be a lot of money to be made with ETFs that are going to be announced. Doge filed for an ETF. Solana is going to get an ETF. There's going to be staking plus rewards for Ethereum, which is going to let a lot of businesses end up putting Ethereum on their balance sheet as well, because they're able to get a safe asset class. Plus, they're able to get like basically dividends, which they could never get on basically like any other crypto, and they still can't get that now. So once that is announced, that's going to be extremely bullish. And then basically a ton of companies in the future will also go and put crypto on their balance sheets instead of just holding cash reserves. And so that's going to basically put hundreds of thousands of businesses with positive cash flow that need a place to put in. They're going to be buying massive like L1s, like they're going to be buying Solana, they're going to be buying Ethereum. I believe they're obviously going to be stacking Bitcoin, and that's going to be way bullish for us because those are the things, that's big money that will push the price higher. Okay. So what should you do? You need to front run the masses and take a position. The bull run will go higher and longer than anyone could ever expect with Trump in office. I firmly believe you need one or two plays for the entire cycle to change your life. And if you haven't hit that yet, I think you need to pay more attention to what is happening in the market, because these plays are happening before our eyes. And even a few plays that we'll go over on this free live training have already happened this week, where I personally know people that have cleared multiple seven figures and done a 10x on a good portion of their portfolio by being early. With that being said, this is crypto, high risk asset class, high risk, quote unquote, right? Never go all in, never invest more than you can afford to lose. And focus on where the money is going to go in the future, not where it has already gone in the past, because you've already missed those opportunities. Okay. This is just like if you look at the right, this is just like a very funny picture, but it actually interprets and identifies how crypto works at its very basic level. The people that get richest in crypto are always the people at the top. The teams get the richest. Then it's the advisors, the fund managers. Then it is the people that do the marketing, the KOLs. Then it is the smart investors. And then it is basically like the retail investors that get in super late. This is what we saw on Aster. Who got the richest on Aster? Obviously, like the KOLs, the people that help with the marketing, the team, the advisors. And then obviously, if you were a smart retail investor, saw it early, got in early, then you also were able to make a lot of money. So there's probably some people that don't know who I am and why I should be telling you about crypto. Okay. I've been in crypto for 5+ years. I've met with hundreds of teams, helped them launch tokens. I've invested in over 30 ICOs, which is like private investments. One of the last ICO deals that me and another group made did 100K to 1.3 mil. So it did like over a 10X, helped raise over $2 million for crypto projects in this space. I'm friends with a lot of top KOLs, which gives me access to really good information pretty much earlier than everybody else, because we're all scouring the market 24/7 to see what's going on. And I also had the privilege to speak at NFT NYC 2022, which was really, really cool and not expected. Okay. So how's the bull run gone for us so far, that for people that have been in the group, Moon Boys, that I run, and obviously myself included. So just some calls. Lofi, 22 mil, went to 200 mil. Trust did a 25x. Hood did a 10x. The private syndicate investment I talked about did a 10x. Dust, if you were in the free Telegram or even the Discord, we called that one early. 3.5 mil, did 25 mil, 7x. A bunch of buy signals on Solana at like $80, and some buy signals on Ethereum at 2.2K. So some really good information and calls here recently to back up all the things that I'm saying. And then these are just some P&Ls from myself or people in the group. One of our analysts up $750,000 on XBM. This was a trade I made around a week ago, $41,000 in profit, $71,000 here. But it's not about me. It's about also the people that are in the group that are also getting insane results with a lot of crazy calls too. So I'll just quickly scroll through these so that you guys can see them as well. A lot of calls have done between 2 and 10x. And of course, we have gotten a couple 100x's as well. But that is not the purpose. That is the byproduct of being very early to calls and finding metas before they catch on and before others, ape into the coin. And so we'll get into that soon as well. Okay. So why am I sharing everything I know? A lot of people get lucky in crypto and Today, I will prove that I am not one of them and that I actually know what I'm talking about because I've been here for 5 years. Normally, if I work with projects or I take consulting calls, I'm charging them $1,000 per hour. So if you're on this call and you took the time, I want you to envision that you've just paid me $1,000 and that I'm going to share with you everything I know, except, this will be for free. And this is literally millions of dollars in lessons that I've round tripped to learn that I hope I can at least help one person and share these lessons with you so that you could make more money, be more knowledgeable, and then not make the same mistakes that I made to get to this point here today. Okay. So I just want to hear from everyone in the crowd. 1, if you can hear me properly, then that is amazing. And how long you have been in crypto. Put a 1 if you're brand new, a 2 if you're 1 to 2 years, or a 3 if you're 3 to 5 years. Let me know because that will also help me tailor the rest of the presentation to fit everyone that is currently watching. Because obviously everyone's going to be newer, some newer to crypto, some older. So let me know in the chat if you guys would, how long you've been here. 3, 2, 3. Okay, so a nice range. That's awesome. Sweet. Addy 2. Dope. Okay, nice. Now, you don't need to answer this on the screen if you don't want to. Keep in your mind how much capital you are working with. 1 to 10K, 10 to 50K, 50 to 100K, 100 to a million, okay? You can let me know in the chat if you want, or you can just keep it in your mind. That is going to be important because that amount of money is also going to come into play when you think about what returns you want to make for the rest of the cycle, how much you're willing to risk, and essentially like what expected returns you can get with how much money you are going to risk for the rest of the cycle, okay? So now, with that being said, what is your goal for this cycle? You want to make 4 figures? Maybe you only have, maybe you're only starting with $100. That would be a good goal. If you're already starting with 20K, maybe you want to get that to 6 figures. Maybe you have 100K and you want to get to 7 figures. What do you guys want to achieve? Be realistic with this, because if you are in here saying I have $100 and I want to make $1 million this cycle, leave the training. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to turn $100 into $1 million. That is, I'm going to be the one to tell you because I will never lie, and it is nearly impossible. I think for most people, if you are starting with a good portion of a decent amount of capital in the thousands, it is realistic to get to 6 figures. 6 figures for this cycle. If you're starting with multiple 6 figures, I think you can easily get 2 or 3x plays that would take you closer to $1 million. Okay. Now, last question for the chat. If you have a plan, okay, do you have a game plan on how to make money and when to leave the market? Put a 1, 2, or 3. Yes, I have a plan and I know when I'm going to exit. I have some idea, but I'm trying to still figure it out. Or I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I'm trying to learn. All of these are good answers. But if you can identify which one you are and be honest with yourself, you're going to get a lot more out of the rest of this training. And again, this will help me tailor the rest of the presentation to help everyone here. So let me know. Aaron, Mac, appreciate you. Lloyd, Bossman. Dope. Addy, nice. Sweet. Okay. Let's keep going. Okay. 2025, 2026 bull run key points. Okay. The final part of the cycle, like I've been saying, is the easiest time in crypto to make money. You can have the worst system and still win. Like I said, 1 or 2 plays is all you need. There was already massive opportunities in the market. If you've been paying attention to crypto, we had Aster launch. We had SCBL launch, which is the ex-co-founder of Tether, his coin launch. We had Advantis just launched, which is basically like an RWA Hyperliquid that's backed by Peter Thiel and Coinbase and a bunch of others. And then we just had Plasma launch, XPL, which did absolutely insane. So these were like 4 launches where you could have made a shitload of money if you were early. And if you're here tonight and you're on this call right now, you are still early. And there's going to be way more launches that are coming up, so you can still capitalize on this movement, okay? This is very important, okay? When do I sell? Everyone will tell you to sell at the wrong time. No one knows 100% when to sell. You are never going to sell the exact top. You're never going to buy the exact bottom. So it is best to just get that out of your head. Either you're always going to wish that you sold sooner, right? Because it went down, or you can never catch the exact bottom. If we can go into crypto and we can catch the meat of the trade, you are going to make so much more money than worrying about, am I selling the exact top? Just like you dollar cost average your way into positions, you want to dollar cost average your way out of positions. For example, I posted in our group like 2 weeks ago that I was selling like a bunch of positions, including 5% of my Solana that I had bought in at like $80 at like $250, where Solana now ended up dipping to 190. I used that money to go and buy Aster, right? So you want to take profits. And when I said that I was selling, a lot of people were inherently extremely upset because they thought the price was going higher. And this is not about me being right and other people being wrong. This is just about being able to identify in the market when things are higher than they should be, and then knowing when to take some profits off the table. Okay. So like I just said, if you didn't sell when I sold a couple weeks ago, I don't think there's a reason to sell right now. I think we're going a lot higher. BTC broke all-time highs. We're on a nice pullback here. Okay. The estimated top for crypto, in my opinion, is somewhere between 5 and 7 trillion. Right now, we're at like 2.7 trillion. So we should do at least a near 2x from here. Coinbase has to be should be the number one app on the App Store. That is like historically what has shown the top of the market. I don't want to make price predictions, although I will, in this call a little bit, but I don't like to, because you have to watch what happens in the market and adjust. Okay. And finally, the easiest way to know when to sell, in my opinion, is when you see everyone around you is getting rich and everyone around you is making money on the trades. That is when you want to take profits. Okay. Now, when do you buy? Okay. Floyd, good quote. I understand you want to be rich, but what have you done to deserve it? Okay. You do not want to buy into hype. You want to wait for the red days, build a watch list, build a thesis, and have a plan. If you can identify what coin is good, that is half the battle. The second half of the battle is identifying what price should I bid at, because even if you buy the best coins, if you buy them at the wrong times, you will still lose money. And this even happened on Aster. People were bidding at $2.40. It wicked all the way down to 170, 1.7. They're down. I think it's a good asset. I think it's going to go higher, but nonetheless, they bid it at the wrong time. And now they're down. Okay. This is what crypto looks like a lot of the time when you are bidding coins at the market bottom. You can be a very bad trader. Some of my most profitable trades, buying Solana on this dip when at 109, $130 on this most recent dip a couple months ago. I was making videos. If you came from my Instagram, I was making videos. They were getting no views at the time because nobody cared about crypto. And this was me and the people in the group, like, to other people, like, you guys are all wrong. This is what you have to assume in your head. You guys are all wrong. I believe we are going to go way higher because of X, Y, Z. And therefore, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. And I'm going to bid the coins that I believe are strong fundamentally that will go up in the future. And most people will disagree with you. Most people will assume that you will lose money. And that is because these people inherently do not know what you know. And the point is to identify assets that are underpriced and bid. Okay. FOMO is the worst thing. And it will take all your money in crypto if you let it. This was Solana when it hit like 260, right around when Trump coin launched. And, you don't need a FOMO into entries. There will be a dip that, you can buy. Okay. So why are we dumping today? The most recent dump, in my opinion, is just a very, very classic pullback in a bull market. I don't think there's any particular reason. I think when stocks and gold go to all-time highs, things naturally come down. And there's many, many, many times you can look back in history where we've gone through bull runs and have found 20, 30, 40% dips. Okay. This is like extremely, extremely, extremely normal. So there's nothing to worry about here, in my opinion. Okay. The employment rate is bad. They need to stimulate the economy. Most debt. This is the most debt that the U.S. has ever had. The M2 money supply is the highest it's ever been, which means they're printing more money than they ever have, which means inherently risk on assets, being stocks, gold, crypto, all these things go up by virtue because the dollar eventually debases, like most currencies over a long period of time end up debasing. And so what you have here is is you have a currency like the US dollar that will inherently lose value over time, and people need to choose where to put their money. Very similar to what happened with COVID. The dollar basically started to get debased. They turned on the money printers. Everyone got stimulus checks. Everyone bought, gold, silver, stocks, nice watches, and started putting their money into risk on assets. Now, following that, obviously, there was a big crash, which I will get into later because I do think the market is going to crash. But there is still a lot of money to be made before we get there, okay? Keep in mind, this cycle is no different than any other. At some point, you will be convinced that this cycle is the one, okay? Bitcoin becomes a reserve asset of the world. It's going to go to 150K plus. You're going to forget what the bear market looks like. The narrative will be that this is the super cycle, and you will lose everything if you think that this cycle is different. No cycle is different. I believe that this cycle is quote unquote different because there are now institutions bidding crypto, but that does not mean that the volatility of crypto will subside. It means in particular cases, it will be more volatile in particular cases. Now, one of those cases would be way in the future when when a lot of Fortune 500 companies put Bitcoin and crypto on their balance sheets, they will all get extremely over leveraged. And at some point when the market crashes, they will need to sell all of their crypto to basically pull themselves out of being liquidated and over leveraged. And this will cause, in my opinion, the biggest crash that crypto's ever seen, similar to the 2008 financial crisis in the future. And for those that are watching, when that happens, which I know it will in the future, you'll be wanting to buy that dip, right? Just like the people that bought real estate in 2008 made a ridiculous amount of money. I'm sure you talk to friends and family members maybe that are super rich. How'd you make your money? 2008 financial crash. And so we will have an event like that in the future. But before we get there, we are going to make a lot of money for this part of the cycle. And then we are going to sell near the top, not the exact top most likely, but near the top, which is good enough. Okay. So you must be willing to sell everything, okay? If you don't sell everything, then you're going to lose money, okay? It's like I wrote this note here. It's like your dad going to get milk and he doesn't come back for 4 years, okay? It's like, oh, I'm going to go and get milk and then he never comes back. And I say this because it's like, oh, just buy the dip, just buy the dip, just buy the dip. And then the dip just keeps dipping and you're in a bear market for 4 fucking years. Like I know people that have held Ethereum through 3 bear markets. And it has been extremely painful for them. And so I don't want that to happen to any of you guys as well, because there are ways that you can sell the top that we're going to cover today in this class. Okay. So one of them, take profit as price increases. People love to increase risk as we get further into the bull run. You'll see this. I've done this in the past too. Let's say you're 50% on a position. Now I'm going to go and throw like another $10,000 or another $50,000 or $50,000 or another 50% more money into the market without feeling that I have the same risk, right? No, right? You decide your risk level before you enter the position and you scale out as the price goes higher, and then you leave a moon bag, right? You will not catch the top or the bottom. Like, you just want to catch the meat of the trade, which is what I've been saying before. Because if you can catch the meat of the trade, you're going to make a lot of money, okay? It is what it is. You're never going to be satisfied. In crypto, money feels fake. There's no amount of money that's going to feel like enough, okay? Everyone will there's always going to be someone with more money than you. You're always going to want more. Take profits as the price increases. Put those profits in your bank account and be careful, because I've seen people, make almost $10 million, and now this cycle they're down to $1 million. I've also seen people with $1 million run it up and make $20 million. So, just be careful, okay? Every coin has its day. Consolidate underperforming coins into conviction plays that you can hold long-term, okay? A long time ago, I was holding Phantom. It was doing shit. I moved a lot of these positions into things like Aster, AVAX, Sol, ETH, Bitcoin. At one point, I owned Hyperliquid as well, right? Every coin in a bear market to some degree will pump, but you want to position yourself and allocate yourself in the best coins that are going to go up the most, okay? You want to go where the money flows, and right now it's flowing into new launches. House money effect, okay? Before, a couple months ago in the cycle, Solana turned into the casino, right? It still is, but it was more so a couple months ago, where people made millions of dollars and they gambled away their profits, right? This is what happens when Sol goes from $12 in the bear market all the way up to $300. Hyperliquid was the same, right? But on steroids, people may turn their airdrops and do millions of dollars. Same thing with Aster. People will get massive airdrops. People have already made a lot of money. People made a lot of money on the XPL launch, also the Plasma launch. What happens? Aster meme coins start to go crazy. XPL, if you're following crypto right now, meme coins start to go crazy because that is the rotation of capital. People need to gamble away their profits. So what do you want to do? You want to go where the money is and rob the goddamn bank. That's what we do. That's what we've always done. And that's how you can make the most money, because you want to take money from the rich people that have gotten rich, and you want to take it for yourself by going where they will gamble away their profits. Okay. Now, the best way to clear 6 figures and beyond for most people is not necessarily going to be all in one cycle, depending on how much money you're starting with. If you are starting with 50K, try and get a 2 or 3 or 5x by the end of the cycle. If you can turn 50K to 250K and you can pocket that and put that in a ledger and don't touch it, that can be worth $2 million in the bear market. If you were able to buy like so many coins have done 20x's, like really big fucking chunky coins. Like the last cycle, Cetify ran like insane, did 20x. You could have bought whatever. I'm not going to say Sol because of the whole FTX situation, like the price was depressed, but even something like BNB, bear market $200, now $1,000. You could have gotten, there's a lot of coins like this. You can get a 2, 5, 10x on really, really large chunky coins buying in the bear market and selling in the peak of the bull. And so that's what you want to do. If you can amount some sort of a good amount of capital, that's going to be like a massive, massive upside for you to make a lot of money. So with that being said, because of launches that are happening right now, a lot of millionaires are being made. There from that Aster launch, there was, I know at least 10 people that made nearly $1 million, honestly. And I'm not one of them. I didn't clear that much, but I did well from it. And there's a lot of people that are in profits because it was effectively a fair launch and people got in early. There's a lot of people that made a lot of money from Advantis. There's a lot of people that made a lot of money from STBL. There's a lot of people that made a lot of goddamn money from even the beta bets this week, even, the meme coins that have been going really crazy on these chains. Like a lot of people have made a lot of money, and this is going to continue to happen because new launches are going to continue to come up. And so all you have to do truly is understand where capital is going to flow in the future and put yourself in between new launches and getting an early position, and you can make a lot of money. Okay. Now, other things that have made millionaires this cycle, this is more for trenching, but it's still relevant. The TikTok meta. Everyone has a phone. You all use it. You all doom scroll. I do too. Instead of doom scrolling, use it to make money. Put it together with your brain. You scroll on TikTok, you see something that's going viral. Check if a coin's been made, right? Just a chilled guy. Moodang, Peanut, Brett, Lofi, all these were generational plays. They all focus on the TikTok meta and being normie friendly. You didn't have to understand some like some tech things, some AI things that you maybe had to clue in on, like something like Advanter, Aster, be early. This is just genuinely from looking at your phone, seeing what is going viral, and then scrolling over to Pump Fund and seeing if there's a coin made about it. Now, going forward, the biggest bets I have, utility coins and new launches, and in Q4, memes will return. These are my bets that I'm placing pretty much my entire net worth on. And I feel extremely confident in these bets, or I wouldn't be sharing it here today. Okay. Like I said, Trump is a game changer in 2025. Most of his net worth is tied up in crypto. A lot of his biggest projects are built in crypto. Eric Trump just became a billionaire. He's bought $10 million plus of ETH at $3,800, $1 million of Chainlink, $1 million of Aave, right? Why would he do this? He's almost not down on these positions, but like he's basically just break even on a bunch of these positions. You think he would spend billions of dollars building crypto, launch World Liberty Finance, like invest so much in crypto infrastructure if he didn't think that he was going to make a shitload of money from it? No, right? He's a billionaire and a smart person. So let's not fight the stream that is flowing, and let's get rich with him. Okay. So again, biggest narratives in 2026. new launches is number one, hands down. We've already seen this confirmed. Aster, Advantis, STBL, XPL. There's another launch coming up called Limitless. This is like a predictions market, similar-ish to Polygon. All these new launches, in my opinion, are going to do really well. There's a bunch more launches coming up. Modad, MetaMask, Rainbow, Abstract, which we've been farming in our group. We'll talk about that later. And this is the time where you can get in early, and these coins are going to run really, really, really hard. I think Q4, again, memes are going to make a return. Solana, mass ETF approval, and Bitcoin reserved is not priced in at all, like 10%. It will be priced in a couple, hopefully this cycle, but maybe even next as well. And then, I think ICOs plus public launches will start to do really, really well again. So Limitless was a coin that we talked about in the Discord before, but it's basically a predictions marketplace. And this is something that I told everyone to throw some money into and pledge. Yeah, the allocation wasn't guaranteed, but for the people that do end up getting an allocation, I believe they will make a lot of money, and we're going to be playing public launches going forward. So we already talked about this, but utility plus new coin launches. Aster, probably 20x here, probably going to $4. Advantis did extremely well. RWA version of Hyperliquid. Again, built on base, going to do extremely well. Plasma, Insane has done really well. Basically a L1 for stable coins. So again, like insanely well it's done. And then STBL, co-founder of Tether's new stablecoin. So that has done extremely well. And guys, these have all been launches in like the past 2 weeks, which is insane. So these are all doing insane. And then this is just some more information about what we just bid, Limitless. So predictions, crypto stock price with the nonstop hourly and daily markets. And you can see here I pledged $15,000 for it, 15,000 USDC. And like maybe I'll get an allocation, maybe I won't. But if I do, like they won't give me 15,000 full allocation. But in my opinion, this is like a very easy like 5 to 10x play. Okay, so front run the masses to get rich. Consumer apps like Moonshot will bring the masses we need. Aster exchange listings will happen in the future. They're going to announce buybacks. You want to buy before they do these things. You must buy when it is annoying and sell when it is easy to buy. You get paid more for taking larger risks, right? It was not clear that CZ was going to push Aster at 10 cents, right? People probably thought there's a small chance that he would, but if he did, it would pay off 20x. So people that took more risk ended up making a lot more money. You get paid, the more risk you take, the more you get paid, right? This is the same thing, right? Aster has money effect. It's annoying, but everyone who's bought is in massive profits and are going to get a huge airdrop. People will need a way to gamble away their money, just like they did when Sol went from $20 to $260. The rotation of capital will go into beta plays, being meme coins on chain. Like, for example, one of them that we call was Dust. Okay. So how to find these new narratives. Look for strong projects with upcoming news, right? Aster, buybacks plus spot announcement. Look at what is performing well in the current market. What is the current narrative? So we know that new launches are going really, really, really crazy. So we want to focus and bid on new launches and stable coins. Okay. Where will the money flow next? New launches, utility coins, and meme coins for Q4. How to find good memes. This is very important. Early on in crypto, I wasn't a big meme coin fan. However, I've shifted quite a bit now because I've seen how explosive the gains can be. And if you get in early, then you can make quite a bit of money. Okay. So figure out what memes can gain massive mind share to the masses. Cute animals with a story. Are they funny and relatable? Leaders on chain, Dog on Runes with Lofi Brett, for example. Like I think Useless will do extremely well in Q4. Watch for volume and holders count. I think volume and holder count is like 90% of the battle. If it has insane volume and holder count keeps going up, but it's currently on a dip. So if a coin's on a dip, but holder count goes up, it's most likely going to run again in the future. Look for Cabal pumps. We'll talk about that later, but essentially Cabal is basically a group of influencers or a group of people with like quote unquote like power or influence that all agree to push one coin. This is traditionally one of the easiest ways to make money if you can identify these groups in place early. Okay. Take profit, but always keep a moon bag and stay away from derivatives. Why bet on memes? Cult following, fair launches. So some are obviously cabals like we just talked about being like Brett and Mog, but you're better off. You're betting on a culture and a movement. You're scrolling on TikTok. You're seeing what is going viral. You're searching up on Dex Screener or Pump Fund if there's a token for it. If there is one, then it could be worth it for you to buy it, right? Sometimes you need to wait even 1 or 2 weeks. One of our analysts in the group ended up telling me about 6.7, this fucking this meme coin at a 250K market cap. Okay, it went to 25 million. So it did 100x, which is insane. I think he probably the guy who told me about it early on. I wouldn't be surprised if he made like 500K or $1 million. Like, I think at the time he had like 1% supply or 2% supply, which is fucking mental. So your edge is finding what will go viral in the future, but is not viral yet. Okay. Obviously TikTok and Instagram Meta, Moodang, just a chill guy. Like you saw was going viral. This is also the thing with things that go viral. Things that are going viral tend to run harder and go higher than you would expect. I think Chill Guy did this. I think Moodang did this. I think Aster just did this. Like it was going extremely viral. People thought they were late and went even higher. So being late is not really late. AI agents was something that did really well in the past. You know, it should have another run up because there is no normal way for people to invest in AI projects without massive valuations or being accredited investors. So AI and AI projects in the future will turn to crypto in order to raise money. That's what I firmly believe. Again, this is just showing there's like a lot of on-chain data that's proving that people are searching for AI and AI agents. This is less now and more of the past, but I do think that they will make a return as well. Okay. So getting into public sales and private sales. This is very underrated in crypto. I think this has been one of my biggest edges. I have really good connections to Seedify, a bunch of VC funds, a bunch of founders. I know big KOLs. I've invested in over 30 deals in the last year. I think the new launch Meta plus public sales will be heating up very soon. And I'm almost positive that there will be a return to ICOs. So private deals and ICOs. This was, if you've been in crypto for a couple of years, in 2017, that was like the first time that ICOs went insane. At that time, it was like meme coins this time around where everything you bid did like 100x. People retired off ICOs. And then in 2021, 2022, they still did well. And then more recently in 2023 and 2024, they started to do not as well because people wanted to bid on public sales and fair launches. But I think that going forward, seeing now that the new launch Meta and the public sales are doing really well, that ICOs will be doing really, really well. And so to put it in perspective, you guys are bidding Plasma or XPL at, I think it's like $2 right now or $1.40. The private sale of that coin, if I'm not mistaken, was at 5 cents. So, yeah, obviously, like that's insane. If you can get into these private sales and you have the connections and resources to do so, then you can make a ton of money. And, there's obviously risk. Sometimes you have to wait 1 or 2 years for these to launch, but you get rewarded. Okay. So in order to get into some of these ICO sales, you typically need to be connected or join a group of people that have this connection. You obviously want to focus on people with a proven track record of finding good deal flow, be able to secure allocation for these deals that are usually oversubscribed. Portal was another coin I invested in earlier this year that did a 50x at launch. And then trended downwards, but overall I still did really, really well on that. In the higher risk you take, the much higher the reward is going to be. Okay. I think Sol, for example, is going to get an ETF. I think that it's going to do $500 to $700 when companies start to bid it as well. I think that right now on this dip at like 190, it was now 205 or something like that. This is a decent price. My entries are a lot lower, but I still think there's good money to be made, and there's going to be massive inflows on the Solana ecosystem going forward. New launches that I'm focused on, we already talked about a couple that are up launch that are coming up. Another one is going to Abstract. to layer 2, amazing marketing, good product fit, built on ETH. They have good distribution, and they have a lot of users. They have millions of followers across other platforms. So I think that in the future, they will do well as long as they launch in a timely manner. For people that are in watching that are already in my group, then you already know that we've been farming this. For people that are just watching here now, if you're not farming this, but you want to, then I would just go to Abstract, their website, and make an account, abs.xyz, and then you can buy some of the meme coins on chain and play the games and start getting some XP. So that's just an easy way to start farming the airdrop there. And we have a whole guide as well in our group that we'll talk about later. Okay, so how are you going to sell top? Now, in order to realize your wins, you must sell at the right time, right? You gotta worry about your buy price, holding drawdowns, and rotating capital. Okay, no matter what, if you can't sell and leave the market, then you can't make money. This is like the most important thing. A lot of people go through massive profits and then hold and round trip most of the gains. When you're up, it's good to shave money off the table and then take that money to your bank account and wallet. You want to avoid rotating capital on big wins. There's in very few circumstances where I would suggest taking money that you've just made on a coin and rotating it into another coin. I would only do this in cases of where I've made a lot of money on a meme coin, for example, and now I'm going to rotate that into a larger asset that I think is priced appropriately that I would want to get a good entry in. I wouldn't be making a lot of money on a meme coin and then aping it into Sol if Sol's like $250, okay? How to spot the top. Coinbase being ranked #1 in the App Store. The sentiment, okay? Does it seem like everyone around you is getting rich? Is everyone over leveraged with positive funding data? In real life, are your normal friends who are dumb, are they aping into random coins on Moonshot and in crypto and making a lot of money just gambling on random coins? And then social, right? Is crypto being pushed by everyone around you? Are your parents asking you, is your mom and dad asking you how to invest or how you're making money? Like if you start to see these things, is your Uber driver trading while they're driving? If you see these things, I always basically go home and sell. And that actually marked basically the top of the last cycle, okay? So $3.2 trillion is the total market cap of crypto now. I think 5 to 7 is possible. This would push Bitcoin to at least $150K and ETH to $6,000 to $8,000. BTC gets priced in as a reserve asset. I think all of this is very realistic and reasonable going forward, okay? You can also look at search volume via Google for Bitcoin and crypto. If you see it's at all-time highs, obviously another good indicator that, potentially you want to sell. So, like I said, when everyone is talking about crypto, I get extremely fucking nervous. Like I said, if your mother's asking about it, if your most retarded friends are making money, if your Uber driver is trading while they're driving, I'm bearish and I want to leave. This was even the case like when I sold some profits like 2 weeks ago. It just seemed like everyone was making money on every launch. And if you say you're selling and people get angry, like, oh, why are you selling here? We're going way higher. This is also another good indicator, okay? Now, tops don't always matter. Every time you open CoinMarketCap and you look at a asset that you own, if you look at Ethereum and you look at Solana at $190 and you say, I'm holding Solana. Would I buy Solana at this price? If you tend to find that the answer is repeatedly no, I would not buy, just let's use Solana, for example. I would not buy Solana at the price that I see it. Then I would look to sell some. Why? Because if you are not willing to buy this asset here, then why would others? By virtue of holding the asset class, you are essentially saying that you are willing to buy it at this price. And if you are not willing to buy it at this price, then you should also not be holding it, okay? So with that being said, the most important thing is no matter what the coin does, no matter where the market is, no matter how much higher the coin can go, if you have somehow made life-changing money, sell it all and take it out of the market, okay? Think in terms of freedom and not in terms of dollars. I have seen a lot of people round trip life-changing money. That will be different for you than for me than to another person. But, if you're someone that is only making $50K a year, for example, and you make I've literally seen this actually earlier this year, and you make $500,000 from a coin, that is 10 years of your annual job salary that you've just made on this coin. Like, forget about the fucking coin and sell the coin and put the money in your bank account and forget about it. Because the downside of that is that the coin goes to zero, and this guy didn't sell. And that is exactly what happened. He round tripped it all, despite what I said. But, you know, like, that's part of crypto. Everyone learns painful lessons over time. Okay. Top picks for 2025. This is what similar to what I'm holding. Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, Aster, AVAX, I think will most likely do pretty well. Render, Hyperliquid, I think memes will have another run. I think Useless, I think it's at $140 million market cap. I think that's going to do pretty well from here. XPL just launched in Advantis, depending on the price. But XPL, I put a signal out in the group before, but I tried to bid it at 40, 50, 60 cents. But it never got there. It ended up going to 70 cents and just fucking rocketing to $2. So we did not get an entry there, unfortunately. But these are the coins that I'm looking at for 2025 and into 2026. Okay. So why are these my picks? Well, capital and risk to reward. You have to decide how much you're willing to risk in order to get your desired returns. Everything that I own in my portfolio, I believe, can do a 2 to 5x with size. And then the smaller bets that I'm willing to take, I think, can do anywhere between like a 10 and 100x. For me, a 2 to 5x is enough with the size of capital that I'm playing with. That will make me happy. If you're playing with less capital and that's not enough for you, then you're going to have to take more risk in order to get outsized returns. I think social media and, I play into this too. Posting big P&Ls, I think, can distort reality of how difficult it is to 2x or 3x your entire portfolio and not just a trade. And so if you're able to 2 or 3x your entire portfolio, that would be really, really good. And if you're trading with like smaller size on each trade, then you're going to have to hit higher multiples to move your entire weighted portfolio up. Okay. So let's talk about beta plays. Beta plays are one of the best ways to make money. Beta plays come from not buying the main asset, but buying the mascot or the beta play of the main play. So for example, Sui would have been the main play, but then the beta play to Sui would have been Lofi, right? And so typically we see these beta plays being valued at 1 to 1.25% of the token. So Bitcoin was $1 billion. Bitcoin and then Doggone Runes was a beta play that went to $1 billion. Ethereum had Pepe, 10 billion. Solana had Whiff, 3 billion. Base had Brett. Sui had Lofi. Aster will have Dust, maybe, or something else. XPL will have, we're not sure yet. Abstract, I believe, will have Appster. And so you want to find the beta plays of the chains. Now, with that being said, you only want to bid chains that have really good volume. Because you'll notice that even things like Aster, the beta plays on Aster and XPL and even Abstract, these coins are doing like 20, 30 X's beta plays, but then they're also crashing down. So you have to be really rigorous in taking profits quickly. So psychologically, this is really important. You have to understand volatility. 10, 20, 30% swings across your portfolio and dips is very normal during the bull market. You need to be able to stomach the downside and capture the upside. Like I'm showing here, $40,000 in 7 days, $55,000 in profit, $100,000 in profit. I've also lost $92,000 before. Like, I'm not sure if other people could do that without like it seriously affecting their mental health and like day-to-day operations. But that is part of crypto and something that you have to also understand. So, quick mental check. We still have some very important things to cover. Comment a 1 if you're learning. And let me know how we're feeling. Let me know in the chat, and then we'll keep going. We have some things to get through still. Let me know in the chat. 1, Dakota. Nice. Rashid, what's up? Aaron, nice. Rafael, good. Okay, as long as we're all learning, then running this was all worth it. Alhamid, GG's, what's up? Solid info, B. Thank you. If I can help one person learn, then it was worth it to put this together. Okay. Also, if you stay to the end of the class, I'm going to be giving away $100 to 2 people, and we'll also do some Q&A at the end. The one person, that's the one big crash never ends. You recording? If yes, I might record another version of this and post it on YouTube. Great content. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, let's keep going. We're locked in. Okay, let's get right down to it. We need to lock in, me included, you guys as well, right? I think there's unlimited opportunities that are left in the market, and there's free money on the table that's flowing. The last 30-40% of this market is the most profitable, but also comes with the most volatility. We are already seeing this. If you were able to ape coins on XPL in the last 48 hours or on Aster, you would have made a shitload of money. However, with that being said, nothing comes without risk, and a lot of these coins have gone parabolic, 1 mil to 35 mil market caps, and have also come down pretty significantly in the last couple of days. So if you're making 10, 20x, or even you're up 5, 7x, pull your initial profits off the table. That's really important because you can ride the trade free now. Even me, for a bigger trade like Aster, like I will personally be taking chips off the table. Hopefully when Aster goes to $3 or $4, I would love to take half of my money off the table and leave the rest to run risk-free and hope that Aster ends up like BNB one day. And if it doesn't, I'm neutral and I lost nothing. And if it does, so be it. And I have millions of dollars in 5 years. That's fine. No problem. But that's what I want to, get to you guys, so you don't need to make $1 million from one trade and to always take profits. Okay. So don't let this be your reality. You're going to make poor decisions when to buy and when to sell. If you do not believe in what you hold, you are going to get capitulated, right? You are going to watch everyone around you get rich, and then you're going to feel more and more FOMO and start to gamble and just be like, oh, how hard could it be, right? You're going to hold the final dip that keeps dipping and face 90% downside. And this will be the reality for many people who do not take what I've said today and implement it. 90% of people lose money to the 10% of people who make a killing and walk out of this market, okay? This was my reality. This is my story that I've lived from the beginning. I started with $10,000 5 years ago. I turned that into $150,000 and round-tripped most of it. I was big into trading NFTs as well. I was working 2 jobs while studying full-time to make extra money. The next bear market, I invested a lot of it in ICOs and bought undervalued tokens at a discount as well. And now I am like, quote unquote, we can say like free-ish. It took me 5 years to do this. Okay. I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn these painful lessons. Last summer, I nearly had a heart attack because I was holding an extremely leveraged position that was near 7 figures. I literally nearly had a heart attack, which was just crazy. I didn't make as much as I could have from that trade, but things worked out positively, which really changed my life for the better. And that was from having good information on the market. And the thing is that you don't have time right now. If you're watching this webinar, truthfully, you don't have time to learn everything that I've learned in the past 5 years, especially not in the final stage of the bull market. You need to be learning during the bear market where you have time to DCA into positions and you have years to accumulate. The time to learn everything was truthfully a year and a half ago, and now is the most profitable time, and there is not time to learn everything that you need to. Okay. But what can you do to win? I believe there's endless tokens that are still going to do. I'm going to change this between 5 and 100 X's. Okay. You don't need to catch them all. You can catch 1 or 2 of them for the rest of the cycle and still make really good money. Most of your coins should be in safer bets that can do a 2 to 5X. I believe that. That is what I also hold in my personal portfolio. And what you need is time to become a pro and study and learn the market. But the issue, like I said, is that you don't have enough time to do that right now because this is the final stage of the bull run. Okay. Now, with that being said, there's never been more bullish catalysts in crypto as there are right now with Trump in office, with companies and governments allocating to Bitcoin. There's going to be when governments also printing money, there will be a point in the market where you cannot believe how overinflated the prices get and how much people are making. Okay. It will be insane. It will go higher than you could ever imagine. All you have to do is capture some of the upside. This is another trade that just happened. Some of you may have heard about it. Apex. It was again in the same meta, as we can call, as Advantis and Aster with DEXs. Massive coins that you can size into. If you guys know Bonkai or Unipix, he's like pretty big on Twitter. He made over $1 million from this coin. And I was talking to him in some groups that I'm in, and you can capture these plays too and size into them with unlimited size. And rotating capital on faster trades like this into safer positions when you're done allows you to not only make money on the initial trade, but also capitalize on the rotation of capital to safer assets once you have already made money. Now, I know I said I don't want to rotate capital before, but that is prefaced on the fact that the thing that I am rotating into, the safer thing, is at a price that I would not want to buy. I would happily, if I made 100K on this trade, I would happily buy 100K of Solana at $190. That is totally fine for me. Okay. Now, I realize now that these photos are a little hard to see. I apologize. Maybe I can make this one bigger. Okay. No, whatever. It's a little unclear, but it's fine. Okay. For example, this was the Trillions chart. This was a meme coin that launched on XPL like a day ago. It did like a 36x. And then if you zoom in here, I'll just zoom in here so everyone can see. Like you can see over the last 48 hours, all these coins, 350%, 5,000%, 200%, 360%, 90%. So like these coins are all going fucking crazy. And so all you have to do is be early and capitalize on the attention. And if you can do that, then you can make a shitload of money. And so that is my goal moving forward. And that's what I want to do and focus on new launches. Okay. Now, your options. You can become exceptional. You can spend thousands of hours studying and learning, like I've said, how the markets work. I've lost tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars on certain plays to learn the things that I know now, to understand the things that I know now, right? You're likely going to lose money your first cycle if you're not in some type of group. And then you can go on the next cycle to make life-changing money, right? The second option is have a mentor or a team, right? Find a mentor, someone that you can trust, or a community that you can trade with and copy from. That are going to give you the exact buy signals and sell signals and help you find upcoming token launches, things that will give you access to the best buying opportunities, things that give you an edge, and help you front run your learning so that you can make more money this cycle instead of others. Now, obviously, you have the third option, like everyone does, which is to do nothing. And you keep trying and gambling until you hit a big one or you lose. And, if you're just gambling, then most people that hit it big end up giving it all back. And so you don't want to gamble. And you want to find coins with an edge in a system so you can do it consistently. Because if you just do it once, like I said earlier in this training, so you don't want to get lucky once, you want to get rich forever. Okay. So let's recap. After spending about an hour together now, do you feel that you are better equipped to make money this bull run? Comment yes if you think this has been a useful hour of your time. And I hope it was, because this has been 5 years of lessons I've learned, some that have been pretty fucking painful. So I hope you guys have found, at least up to this point, pretty valuable. Bet. Nice. Yes. Yes. Sweet. Yes. Nice. Okay. Now, I believe if you have direct access to me and my team, then you you think that you would do better or worse for the rest of this market if you could trade with us full time? I think like last time, most people would agree you'd probably do better because we have 5 analysts that are working full time. Okay. So the future of this bull run, the stakes, like I've said, are way too high to be gambling away your money. Okay. To find the 10X, to try and find the 10X with no edge. You need a mentor, in my opinion. This is what I had years ago. And I've shown you guys this already, I believe, in my free Telegram group. If you guys are following there, if you're following my Instagram, I post a lot of calls and trades I'm taking. I'm sure a lot of you have also made some good money from there. I truly don't think that there's anyone better than me that can help all the people on this call win this bull run, because I've literally seen everything. I've round tripped hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars from trading, and I post all the P&Ls in the Discord on my Instagram. I've seen every scam in crypto. I've been here for a long time. I've invested in literally probably 100 ICOs. And so I know what to look for. Okay. So my biggest edge in this market is that you want to find a mentor, something that I had and I did 5 years ago. Now, you want to learn from people that have already experienced all the ups and downs in crypto so that you don't have to. There's a lot of painful mistakes that I've made over the past 5 years that I do not want you guys to go through. And if I would have listened to some of my mentors in the past that brought me up and taught me how to trade and how to identify coins and how to handle risk, I could have saved myself hundreds of thousands of dollars. I could have saved myself from getting scammed early on. I could have saved myself 2 years of my life. I could have saved myself probably a near heart attack last summer. Okay. And later tonight, I'm going to let a couple people join me as well and to trade with us, but it's going to be really limited because I'm putting a lot of attention to those people in specific. Okay. So again, you have options to win this bull run. Stay where you are, gamble, go through this market and praying that you make some money and that you can exit at the right time, or you can join me and my team of analysts. You get access to all our educational content that we're going to be putting out, buy and sell signals, altcoin, meme coin picks, that I'm obviously trading with my own capital. And, that's what I've been posting about recently, even with the Astra trade. A lot of people know that I have a pretty large position there as well. And every single call that we make. So you can see what I'm buying too in real time. This is also very important because I'm not one of these people that just calls coins and then doesn't buy it. Every single thing I call, I bid with my own money. So you guys know that I've skimmed the game too. Okay. So for those that are sitting there wondering, why would you even want to join me and my team of analysts? Proven strategy. We've called multiple 10Xs that we've gone through in this live training. You can see a bunch more on my Instagram or Telegram as well. The access to private investments that I think are going to do extremely well going forward, public launches and private launches. I think going into the end of this cycle in 2026, these are going to be some of the best ways to make money. And you want to have good connections and the ability to actually get allocation to these coins and deals. That is going to be extremely hard when people realize how lucrative they can be. Now, obviously, access to my entire network where we share information and get plays behind closed doors. This includes cabal plays and things of this nature as well as all of the buy and sell signals when I'm exiting the market. When I sold my Solana, when I sold other positions, I said that I was selling them in the group. And I think for those people that followed me, they were able to get profits from the market and then redeploy them into other plays going forward. Okay. So I think this would allow you to fast track your education and research. I truly and still believe it takes 1 to 2 big wins this bull run to change your entire life or at least make it significantly better. And in the last month, we've already called many 5, 7X plays and multiple 2 or 3X plays with unlimited size. And honestly, I don't know a single other person that has done this and shown it as transparently as I have, explaining why I'm doing what I'm doing and building good theses. And again, you don't need a lot of money. I started, like I said, 5 years ago with 10K. You can start with, a few grand and still do really well this cycle. Obviously, if you're starting with more money, I would try and aim for safer returns like 2 to 5X. But my main goal for most people here would be to get to 6 figures this cycle, put that away in a ledger, and then redeploy that in the bear market. And that to me is worth like $500K to $1 million. That is how I see things. And I think if you're able to put away a good amount of capital for the bear market and redeploy then or on massive dips, then you could turn 6 figures into 7 figures in one cycle if you bid dips and you find coins and new launches very early. Okay. And so this is it tonight. I have a special offer. I'm going to take on a couple of people. Every single person is going to be vetted that joins the mastermind. So I can give them the best calls, spend time with them. And I'm going to be closing this group basically forever once Bitcoin breaks all-time highs. And I'm never doing a live training for the rest of this year other than tonight. So if you guys are here watching, then it means a lot to me because this took a lot of time and I'm not doing another one for the rest of 2025. So there's going to be a calendar link that I'm going to post in the chat. If you want to join my mastermind, then that's awesome. And you can book a call with me. And everyone's going to be basically hand selected by me, which is why there's just like no like, oh, link, I can just like join right now. You have to go through a calendar link. We're going to jump on the phone and chat, make sure you're a good fit for the group, because there are a lot of high net worth people in there that take this pretty seriously. And then I'm going to be onboarding everyone for the next couple of hours. And so that's going to be really, really crazy. So I think that going forward, there's going to be a lot of money to be made for the rest of the cycle. And I'm just going to put the link in the chat to book a call for anyone that is interested in joining. Again, you're going to have to, the mastermind is going to be different than the Discord, but you can book a call or message me on Telegram and we can talk about it. The Discord is closed for the people that are in it. Now there's no other way to get in it. The only way to get in is through a Calendly book call with me and to see if you're a good fit for the mastermind. And so a full breakdown, access to all the private and public investment opportunities that are not possible without a very strong network, access to my team of analysts who focus on private deals, meme coins, altcoins, large caps, exact buy signals of what I buy and why. We're going to do 1 or 2 weekly calls every single week. Obviously, how to avoid being scammed and wallet protection. And then every single person that has joined the mastermind gets on a one-on-one onboarding call with me to go through all of your current holdings so that you can make sure that you're allocated correctly to the right coins that I believe will do the best according to my own holdings as well. And we'll also review like basically what your goals are for the rest of the cycle. And oftentimes, if I need to, I will tell people to either increase risk or reduce risk, like depending on what they want to do. But for me, the goal has always been capital preservation. And I think that's why I have made good returns, but I'm also still in this game and kicking 5 years later in crypto, which I can't say for most. Okay. Now, is this for you? If you want to edge in crypto, I would say this is for you. Whether it's my group, whether it's another group, whatever, doesn't matter to me. But this is the point. You need a group of people with a proven track record and a strategy of people that are winning. If you have 5 hours a week and listen and implement the skills that I'm going to give you, I believe this is a really big edge. And if you want to be in crypto for a long time, it's really imperative that you have a good community to surround yourself with. Okay. Now, final question is just like, do you trust yourself? Less than 10% of people last bull run left in profits. A lot of people round tripped everything on the NFT craze when they had hundreds of thousands of dollars. I knew someone with like 20 apes that didn't sell any of them. He ended up only buying like a Lamborghini Urus and a Huracan, and he ended up selling both of those cars. And that was like his main profit of the cycle, was just buying those 2 cars and then selling them. That's like because he never took any profits on the NFT. So a lot of people lose money. And then also trenching, I think over time will be less and less profitable because it's just a big rotation of capital. And so more time and more effort is going to be put on new launches and utility coins going forward. However, like I said before, if you find certain meme coins early, then I think you can still make a killing. So people who follow our strategy in the group this is the same thing as before, but 5X here. You can look at my Instagram highlights. There's a ton of them. This was from a couple months ago, I believe. Then we called Dust recently. Woo's also in there, one of the analysts. He's killing it. He's really good with meme coins. I'm really good with new launches. And then I also post in the free Telegram as well for people that are, that don't have as much money, that just want to also get in on some of the plays too. So try and post in there as much as I can. Okay. So finally, 2 options of this bull run. You figure everything out alone. You watch YouTube videos. You listen to random influencers shilling you coins. You spend hours trying to filter through garbage and free groups. Like not all free groups are good, to be honest. A lot of them are just shilling you shit coins. And you're probably going to lose money for the first cycle. I know I did. You have to pay a certain amount of tuition to the market. That's part of the game. And if you don't have a mentor or a group that's going to help you, then that is just a reality for most people. Or you can learn from a group of people who have a proven track record. Get access to real-time buy and sell signals, altcoins, large caps, meme coins. And then, you pay to learn from every mistake. Over the last 5 years I've made, costing me hundreds of thousands of dollars and nearly having a heart attack. And I'm still here today. And this is a reality of crypto. Like I said, the people at the top get the richest. This would be obviously the people that own the coins, the advisors, then the VCs and KOLs who are the marketers, the smart retail connections, crypto normies. You need to move yourself up the ladder. The higher you get to an advisor, to a builder, to a marketer, to a KOL, to a smart retail investor, the more money you can make, the higher you get yourself up the curve. And so you want to position yourself in a better situation near the first level so you can make the most amount of money. So, this is the final stage of the bull run. I truly believe this. You are not late, but you have missed the chance to be early, right? You cannot simply just buy a mid-cap altcoin right now and get a 5 or 20x gains from the bear market lows. That part of the cycle is over. This is the final stage of the market where the most parabolic gains are happening, and you have to be positioned correctly, and you have to see the trends that are emerging and be able to hop on them extremely quickly, right? The people that bridged to Plasma or XPL over the last 2 days made a killing on new launches. That's going to rotate to other launches in the future. Okay. So you have to be able to identify where the money's going and then get there very quickly. Now you can try and figure it out yourself, but it's going to be really difficult, and it might cost you the rest of the cycle to learn. Where for me and our entire mastermind in the group, we're going to be focused on making money for the rest of the cycle and not learning during the most valuable time in the cycle. Okay. So we've already blasted past all-time high in Bitcoins before. We're on a nice 30% correction here. This is a primed opportunity for new entries, and you have the chance to make up for lost time, and a final chance to get allocated to good coins in the market are around this corner, right? Imagine what the market's going to look like when Bitcoin crosses $150,000. It only takes 1 or 2 plays to really change the outlook of your life. So you want to position yourself with a group of winners who can identify these plays that have proven it before. Okay. So how have I done well, and how has the group that I'm running also done well? Okay. Well, we have private opportunities, which has given us an edge. I'm able to sometimes get OTC deals and buy tokens at a discount. I am in the future and currently still looking at private investment opportunities that I can give out as well to the group if I find something that makes sense. We have a habit of buying when we least want to. We understand that the path to many millions of dollars in crypto is not necessarily going to be just one cycle, but rather many cycles. And we have 5 analysts that are basically working all the time. And we're in the best groups, and we're watching every move in the market, so we're able to play it correctly. Okay. Now I'm sure you guys already have some questions. We're going to open up Q&A for myself. Could I make more money finding, so you're probably asking, could I make more money finding these coins myself and not paying to join the mastermind? Maybe if you're spending a lot of time in crypto by yourself, you already have a really good group of people, you are already a really profitable trader yourself, and you are on trends and chronically online. Maybe. I don't think that you guys would find stuff as fast as us, because we are literally online 24/7, and this is all we do. So we kind of know where trends are going to go, and we're first to it. And so why would you give away your calls? So there is only a certain amount of money I'm willing to put into every position. Once I find these plays, once our analysts find these plays, and we give a call, like, everyone is allocated. The coin will go, like, in most cases, hopefully the coin goes up, but it will go up with or without other entrants. So it makes no difference for us to give out the calls and get you guys allocated as well, especially if we think the coin is going to go up, because we can all win together. Okay. So some of you here are probably wondering, how can I join? And this is how. So if you're ready to join the best community in crypto and join the mastermind, then you can message me on Telegram, Brandon00_00, or you can book a call right here in the chat. I just put the link there. It'll take you to my Calendly, and we can see if you guys are a good fit. That is going to conclude the presentation tonight. If there is any questions, you can type it in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them. And this has been the most incredible way I could spend the last hour and 20 minutes with you guys, and I really appreciate your time. So yeah, let me know in the chat if you have any questions. And if you want to book a call, then you can just go to the Calendly. Again, the link's in the chat. Hopefully everyone can open it. and you can book a call, and then we'll talk one-on-one. And yeah, but let me know if you have any questions. You can put it in the chat. Thank you, Brandon. Anthony, appreciate you. Raphael, yes. Is it still worth setting up a call for the mastermind if I've only got a few soul? Grant, you can message me on Telegram. There might be something else that is better suited for you. So Grant, you can message me. I think there's a better group for you than the mastermind that you'll need a bit more capital for that. Raphael, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for all the info. Dakota, what's up? Thank you, guys. Let me know if you have any particular questions. I'm happy to answer it here for sure. But yeah, overall, I think new launches are going to go crazy, and I think it is going to be worth everyone's time to pay attention to them. Whether you're in the mastermind or not, I think this is going to be a really good time in crypto. And I hope you guys learned something here tonight and found this super valuable, because this has been a great way for me to spend time learning and teaching myself. Chris, no, it's a much smaller group of people. And every single person is just vetted. So the old Discord that doesn't exist now, no one can join that. It was not vetted. Anyone could join. And this one, every single person has to get on a call with me to join. And there is just like a number of members, a very small group of people. Tiago, is 10K a good amount to start with? Yep, Tiago, that's a solid amount. If I were you, I would look into booking a call if you're interested. That's enough. What are your predictions for 2026? Like I said on this kind of call, I said that I think utility coins and new launches are going to go crazy. And I think that they will go a lot higher than people could expect. And I think if you can allocate your money to new launches, then you can front run a lot of capital, because you can front run capital by buying coins before they get listings. Chris, why doesn't the old Discord exist anymore? It does exist. It's just not open. So nobody can join. The only way to join my group now is to book a call with me, because I want to vet every single person joining the mastermind group. So it's going to be a way smaller, tight-knit community. Nice. You mean the people that are already in the Discord? Yeah, if you guys are coming from the Discord already, then you're good. Then that's fine. There's just nobody else can join the Discord. That's closed. Everyone else is being vetted going forward and has to join a call with me. Tiago, good stuff. Speak soon, bro. Thanks for your time. Appreciate you. Let me know if there's any other questions. I'll drop this one more time if anyone else wants to book a call. Bless, appreciate you. Was it make sense for someone who is not experienced or can't contribute much knowledge to the mastermind group? Yeah, to be honest, Michael, a lot of people are in there that are much more passive. I would say there's a lot of business owners in there, a lot of higher net worth people that don't have